Good morning, everybody. I hope you're fired up. I hope you're as excited as I am. I tell you what, I've been reading. My eyes are so bloodshot. I've been reading and reading and reading. There's so much going on today. We got Trump is pulling. The Republicans are in trouble. They are going to the well. The same stuff that they've always done. That is the theme for the show today. Several things are going on. We've got some serious corruption to talk. Anyways, let's dive into it. Let's dig into it. Good morning, everybody. I hope everything's going well. Hope you're doing well. I had to throw some eye drops in real quick. I'm sorry. I don't want to look like a walking zombie the entire show. But I tell you, let's, first thing we've got to talk about, we are a community. We've got to take care of each other. We do. We've got to take care of each other. This is happening for our brothers and sisters in Hawaii. Please, 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 please take Lala seriously. Please take Lala seriously. She is bearing that. She will hit you this weekend, late this evening, and you'll start to get the outer bands of it. Lala is coming. She's going to all the storm tracks put her dragging the worst part of the storm. It's that northeastern part of the storm that is always the worst in these storms. And folks, she's not going to stay a tropical storm. She is not. Everybody, all the meteorological folks that are tracking this are telling she's going to spin up to at least a Hurricane 1, stage 1 hurricane before she hits Hawaii. So please, my people, do not rely on the Trump regime to be there for you. They will not. Be prepared. Have the mindset, understand, follow directions. If they tell you to get the hell away from a coastal community, pack your shit and go. If you don't have time, leave your shit there. It is not worth dying for. Please, people, take care of yourselves. We will be watching. We will be looking out. Those that are among us that pray will pray. Those of us that do not are sending you strength. Please take care of yourself and listen to the authorities and do what they say. Well, folks, we've got, I want to dive right into the Trump catering story again. It has been something that a lot of people have, it's just gone viral. It's just gone completely viral. They humiliated themselves. They did not think that is what's going to happen. See, when you do this for a living, it's not like social media. It's not like, your social media is for what you have it for. It's for entertainment, for information, for, it is what it is. You use it very differently than I use it. When you do this for a living and you spend as much time looking at things, one of the questions you have to ask is, where's the information coming from? When something goes viral, when something's put out there, there have been stories I have refused to talk about. I have been attacked for refusing to talk about some stories. But I ask that question, where is this information coming from? Why is it being released? When somebody gives you information, there's a reason they're doing it. Sometimes it's altruistic. Sometimes it is just wanting to do the right thing. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you ask those questions and the questions come back, the answers come back with, oh, well, yeah, this is somebody. Okay, we can trust this information. It's been bothering the shit out of me. It has been bothering the shit out of me. Where did this information come from that Trump ran like a coward, that he hid in a catering truck? That, where did that originate? It was them. It was the Trump regime that leaked this information. There are people like Maggie Haberman, and there are reporters that we absolutely wrap their knuckles all the time because they have these relationships with the Trump regime, and they allow themselves to be used, and they know it. I mean, this is straight up hooking just to keep the relationship. This always bothered me because when something is just too easy, too good of a gift, I'm always suspicious. I am. Call me paranoid. Call me paranoid. I am. And I've just been looking and looking and looking and looking, trying to figure out who released this, why. Why did they release it? We got some more information on that today. And it is becoming clear. The fog is lifting. We're finding out what this is all about. This shit originated in Israel. We got to talk about where the intel came from at first. This shit originated in Israel well before this incident occurred. This was something that Israel brought to us. This is from Netanyahu's people. He said, "Ooh, you got to be careful, man. Them Iranians trying to kill you, brother. They're trying to kill you, man. Look, we got some intel that says they're trying to do it." Our intelligence agencies don't just accept Israeli intelligence. They don't. They know they have motives. They don't just trust what's brought to them. And they completely and whole 100% debunk this. Not after the fact. Before Trump ever climbed in that catering truck. Before the Secret Service told our military, because our military it's the Air Force that handles Airforce One. Our military intelligence had already told them this is bullshit. This is not, and this is why, folks. This is why. This is a man-pad. We've talked about this before. Shoulder-fired missiles. Portable shoulder-fired missiles. We talked about the FN-61 from China that are going to Iran. They're quite good. They're really good at what they do. What they don't do is shoot down planes like Airforce One. Low-flying helicopter, yeah. A-10 Warthog, attack aircraft, low-flying, slow-flying aircraft, yeah, they're deadly. They are freaking deadly. You get in close to somebody that's got a man-pad, you're cooked. You're cooked. You are. But there's a reason AWACS planes don't worry about man-pads. There's a reason refuelers don't worry about man-pads. They fly too high and too fast. They just do. They don't fly, they're not flying, attack missions. And Airforce One doesn't either. And I know some people say, well, what about at the airport when it takes off? There is security around these airports. There are also escort jets. If you've never seen Airforce One take off, it is cool as shit. It does not take off alone. Simultaneously, when Airforce One takes off, there are escort jets that take off with it, fighter jets. And Airforce One, it is stacked in countermeasures. It is. If you think the flares that we've showed like Spookies, The AC-130s, blowing flares off. It looks really cool. If you think an AC-130 has flares, you should see the countermeasures in Air Force One. And that's just the shit we know about. That's the shit that's been published. It is a hard plane to shoot down. And with a man pad, even more so. Even more so. But before you get to that, those jet aircraft that fly with Air Force One will engage in a suicide mission. If something got missile lock on Air Force One, those jets would fly behind Air Force One. They would immediately make themselves highly visible on radar. They would draw the attention of any incoming missile, and then they would try to draw it away. They're trained for it. They do it all the time. They train for it all the time. This is not a target you're going to shoot down with a man pad. It's just not going to happen. Our intelligence knew that. But Israeli officials told the Trump regime, we didn't really, after the fact, we haven't really vetted that. We didn't really vet it. Now that it's blown up in their face and the Trump regime is looking for someone to blame. Yeah, they're blaming Israel. Well, we got this intel from Israel and we believed them. But again, well before the fact, our intelligence agencies absolutely debunked it. They did. They said this isn't it. So why did they do it anyways? Well, it's one of two things. Either Trump again is siding with foreign governments over our own intelligence, which is a strong possibility. It is a strong possibility that Trump would believe Netanyahu over our own intelligence agencies. Or two, they really thought they were going to spin this. Again, going to that well of shit that works for them. Oh, this was an assassination attempt on Trump. They were going to try to kill the president. Oh my God. Iran, everything's going shitty with the Iran war. The American people, even their own base, is against this war. They really thought, I believe this. I believe number one is a possibility, but I believe number two is the reason they did this anyways. They really thought that they were going to spin this. And this was going to be the thing that turned everybody into supporters for the Iran war. Oh, they tried to kill our president. This was an assassination attempt by those batty Iranians. They didn't realize they were going to look like idiot cowards. They didn't realize how badly this was going to blow up in their face. They have miscalculated over and over and over again when it comes to this war. And they're doing it again. We're going to talk about the USS Abraham Lincoln here in just a little bit. They're doing it again. They're badly miscalculating where the American people are. They really think they're going to just be able to keep going to the same well over and over and over again. Shit that served them in the past. Every time they had a bullshit assassination attempt on Trump, it consolidated their base. They really thought, I believe this. It is they either, like I said, one, they chose to believe Israeli intelligence over our own, which, hey, is a possibility. It is a possibility. Trump tends to do, he believes Russia over our own intelligence. Or two, this was just a fucking stunt. They really thought that this was going to, Trump being so sly Trump being so smart. He's outsmarting those Iranians when the Iranians are trying to assassinate our president. They said they won't they don't want to kill Trump. They don't. Trump is the greatest gift they have ever gotten. I just want to rehash this one more time. What has Iran gotten out of this? What did Iran have before this idiocy that Benjamin Netanyahu's led our idiot president into? What did Iran have before, and what do they have now? And that will answer your question about whether or not they want to kill our president. They do not. I will tell you right now, they do not. Trump is the greatest gift that Iran has ever had. Before this war, Iran was facing economic collapse. They were. Their currency was starting the death spiral due to inflation. Starting a death spiral, causing inflation, causing hyperinflation in Iran. It was literally the beginning of the end for them. Had they done nothing, this problem would have resolved itself. But no, they needed a distraction. They were getting killed with the Epstein files. Everybody was talking about Ghislaine Maxwell. Everybody can think back. Everybody was talking about Ghislaine Maxwell. They needed this to happen. So Netanyahu, who wanted to steal some Lebanese land, took the dumbest president to ever sit in the office and convinced him, we'll just have another quick attack on Iran. It'll be rockets, red glare, bombs bursting in air. Everybody will be excited. Everybody loves a good war, man. Let's do it. Just real quick. It'll help your poll numbers. It'll distract from Epstein. Yeah, let's do it. They never thought it out. They never thought that it would go this long. And Iran, again, they were collapsing. There was a violent revolution in their streets already starting when this war started. That's over. They're hanging. They've set up an express lane in their prisons. They have arrested everybody that was involved in the Iranian revolution. And they are hanging them wholesale. And our media is not talking about it at all. No, our media is not going to tell you that, Trump ended the revolution in Iran. He ended it. No, our media picked a side. They picked a side. They did. They're going to prop Trump up. So yeah, Iran has stability. Iran has a very tightly renewed relationship with China. They do. See, China has conflicts with India. China has conflicts within the region. They're looking for allies in that region. They're looking for stability. Hell, if you're new to the show, welcome. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button. But we've done a show previously. Again, didn't really make the news here in the U.S., but India and China were in a shooting war on their border. They were attacking each other. Never even made the news here. Just recently, not that long ago. Never even made the news here. So China was looking for people that they could build relationships with in the region. They need oil as badly as we do. Oil makes the economy run. Literally greases the tracks of the economy. And China has made deals with Iran, just like they've made with Russia, for very, very cheap oil. The rest of the world is depleting all of their supplies. The rest of the world is depleting their supplies. Our blockade won't fuck with China. Chinese ships are zipping in and out. They are. China's getting dirt cheap oil out of Iran, and it is keeping Iran's economy running. So, yeah, you tell me, if you're Iran and this idiot, this orange idiot, he solved your revolution problem, he's helped lay a foundation to stabilize your economy, he's destroying Israel. Israel's a pariah. He's delivering to you everything you want. All you have to do is survive the attacks. And oh, by the way, they're destroying themselves because they didn't have, they being we, did not have the money to revamp our military out of another war. And we're running out of long range missiles. We're running out of, this war is about to do one of two things. We're either going to quit or it's going to get very up close and personal, because all of our long range missiles, we're running out of long range missiles. And we do not have the ability to quickly manufacture those. We don't. Those things take time to build. And Trump is trying to force these companies to expand manufacturing, but he doesn't want to go to Congress to get a bill passed to pay for it. And Iran knows it. Iran knows they've backed themselves into a corner. They do. So Trump pulls this stunt. Iran is bad. The baddies were trying to kill me. The baddies were trying to assassinate me. Even though our own intelligence debunked it. Even though our own intelligence debunked it. Yeah, that's what they're doing, folks. And that is the theme of today's show. They are running home to mama. They know they are in trouble in the midterms. They know you are pissed. They know you are going to turn out. They know Democrats are motivated. They know what they're looking at, and they are desperately running home to mama with the same old shit that they always do to try to turn out their voters. They are. Case in point, this. We're going to come back to the USS Abraham Lincoln. Stick with me. We'll come back to the region. We'll come back to talking about Iran and the USS Abraham Lincoln and a few things here in just a minute. But I want to talk about this. This is really happening, folks. This is real. This is going on right now. The Trump regime, I should have highlighted it. If you look down here, has ordered U.S. attorneys, you will keep 25 fraud cases open at all times. At all times. Now, folks, that's not how crime works. That's not how the system works. When every time something like this happens, it's a disaster. It is horrible. Think about ICE and immigration, how ICE is just arresting people. They're arresting citizens because they were told, here's your quota, fill it. Mr. Araujo down in Houston died for that. They had a quota. They wrote their own warrant. They went to arrest the guy that they wrote their own warrant to arrest. He wasn't there. Hey, they got a quota to fill. Hey, there's a Mexican driving by in a van. Let's go get him. We don't know who the fuck he is. We don't know what he's doing. But hey, we'll just pull him over. And they ended up murdering somebody. Things like this end terribly. And they just did it again. Why? Why? What is the point of telling every U.S. attorney you've got to keep 25 fraud cases open at all times? Why are they taking resources away from major crimes? You know, the FBI, they don't mess around with petty crime. They don't. They don't. If the FBI knocks on your door, baby, you better believe they're chasing millions of dollars. There's something big going on. There's a lot of training, a lot of training. You know, they consider a new agent to be a baby agent for about 5 years. They call them baby agents for about 5 years because it takes them that long to learn how to deal with these big cases. And I mean, you're talking about they're going after people that have lawyers, good lawyers. They've got to be skilled in what they do. Not anymore. Not anymore. You're going to chase petty crime. Yeah, you're going to chase petty crime. That's what you're going to do. You're going to chase cases like this. This is, oh, before we do this, we do have a little bit of bad news. We do have a little bit of bad news. Before we get to, just pause this for a second. Side note, a little bit of bad news. Nigel Farage has defeated Sir Ben Face and will hold his seat. I knew this was going to happen. That's why I didn't. A lot of people asked about Ben Face and all that. It was funny. It would have been hilarious if Nigel Farage had lost his seat. But folks, and this is the reason I'm taking this detour, because you have to remember, bigots are going to bigot. It's what they do. And Nigel Farage's seat in his area, he has a bunch of old bigots. Same, you know, like when you see MAGA here, they're a bunch of bigoted old white dudes. That is Nigel Farage's district. It is just chock full of these miserable old bigots. Ask anybody. We got people from the UK in the audience. Ask him. Ask him about Nigel Farage's district, where he's from. It is MAGA. It is. So I knew it would have been hilarious. It would have been funny. It would have. But I knew it wasn't going to happen. I knew it wasn't going to happen. Oh man, I hope your coffee's as good as mine. Whew. Yeah. That's why they run home to mama. That's why I took this little detour for a second, just to remind you, bigots are going to bigot, and it's what's important to them. It is. And they've had some success with it. They've had some success with it. You remember what happened in Minneapolis? You had a white lady that ran one, you know, a huge welfare fraud in Minneapolis. What did they tell their base? Oh, it's Somalis. It's Somalis that are doing it. No, it was a white lady. It was a white lady. She did it. She's going to prison. We've talked about it in the show. We're not going to rehash that whole story. But what did they do? They kept claiming more and more fraud until they were actually claiming more fraud than there was actual money in the system. First, it was $1.5 billion in fraud. Then it was $8 billion in fraud. Then it was $19 billion in fraud. And today, when they rehash this, and I'm warning you because this is the October surprise. I'm warning you ahead of time what the Republican October surprise is. One of them. There's always multiple October surprises. This is what they're building. This is why they're telling U.S. attorneys, you have to keep 25 fraud cases open at all times. Petty fraud. Because it doesn't matter that it's petty fraud. By the time they were done, they were claiming there was hundreds of billions of dollars in Somali fraud in Minnesota. That's why ICE had to be there. Trump is the hero. You're losing your benefits because the Democrats want to hand all the money to immigrants because they love immigrants because they cheat and vote in elections. All of this was a lie. You know it, but you know Cletus and your drunk uncle absolutely believe it. Absolutely want to believe it. They literally claimed more fraud than there was actual money in the system in Minnesota. They literally claimed more fraud existed than there was actual money in the system. And Cletus and your drunk uncle believe it because of that narrative. The Somalis, the dark people, are taking all the money. Government is bad. Welfare is bad. You see all the buttons that they're pushing with this? Welfare is bad. You know, they went back to the welfare queens. The immigrants are bad. They're all criminals, which was a lie. It was a white lady. You're going to lose your benefits, your Medicare. We got to cut them. We got to cut them. Yeah, they got their diversion. It's the broligarchs of why we're facing maybe losing benefits. It's the fact that they piss away so much money on our military constantly is why they're, I told you, they're going to tell you, you're too expensive. This is the narrative that they think is going to take them to the promised land. With Cletus, the MAGA base, your drunk uncle, your idiot relatives that repeat this shit. How are they going to do it? They're going to do it right like this. They've already started. This is New York Post. You know it's a right-wing rat. Food truck owner charged in sneaky SNAP benefits fraud scheme for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Before we're done, it'll be hundreds of millions, and then it'll be billions. This is what they're talking about. This is what they're talking about. There's a food truck, and the best lies always have a kernel of truth. There's a food truck, the Soriano grocery truck. That's a thing. When I say food truck, I'm not talking about like you think of a food truck where you go buy some tacos or something like that. No, this is a mobile grocery store. And they were committing fraud. They were. They had an agent walk up and trade $100 in SNAP benefits for $50 in cash. That really happened. And they went back and they looked at the records. This food truck is processing more SNAP benefits than the local grocery store chains are. So yeah, they were committing fraud. They were. It happens. It happens in the system. We know that. We have agents designed to catch this stuff that do this for a living. And it's not hard to spot. This little food truck was processing more SNAP benefits than big grocery stores. I mean, hell, that was easy. That was easy, right? They're going to claim it's massive systemic-wide fraud. They're going to lie about the numbers just like they did in Minnesota. And it's going to be people like the Sorianos. Brown people. They're running home to MAGA. Welfare queens are stealing your money. So you're going to lose your benefits. And the Democrats love these people because they vote illegally in the election. And Democrats love welfare fraud and welfare in general. So be mad and come vote for us. Even though it's the Trump regime that is driving up their grocery bills, it is the Republicans that are absolutely going to steal their benefits. These bigots will do it. Yeah, they will do it. These benefits, these bigots will drink this down. Folks, I'm telling you, before it happens, we're going to have a show in the future where I say, told you this was going to be the message. Folks, U.S. attorney, this is how it works. This is how it works. So that your resources aren't wasted, law enforcement, talking about special agents, if they tried to bring a little case of petty fraud to a U.S. attorney, that U.S. attorney would tell them, get the fuck out of my office. I cannot justify the attorneys, the resources. This is going to cost us $1.5 million to prosecute, $2 million to prosecute, $9 million to prosecute. Plus all of your time, all of your investigative work to what? Solve some petty crime? No. Get the fuck out of my office with this. You will send this to the local authorities. You'll send this to the state. And then that agent will say, okay. I mean, this really happens, folks. Agents will get a tip about crime that is absolutely in their jurisdiction. Okay? This is real crime that really happened. It is in a federal agent's jurisdiction. They'll do some investigation on it. We'll pay them six figures plus to go do this investigation. They'll use our resources, our investigative resources, and they'll do an investigation. They'll put a case together. They'll write it up. Their managers say, if you can sell it, go ahead. They'll call the U.S. attorney. They'll sit down for a meeting. They'll show them what they've got. And the U.S. attorney will tell them, fuck no. You give this to the state. Okay. And then they'll take all that investigative information. They'll call somebody they've liaisoned with the state or the local government. They'll say, hey, I built the case for you. It's almost there. All you got to do is carry it over the finish line. I'll send you the information. And then it goes down to the state level and gets prosecuted. That happens all the fucking time. That is normal modus operandi. Not anymore. Not anymore. They will spend your resources. They will divert investigative resources that should be spent investigating the broligarchs, try to figure out how Trump made $2 billion on crypto, which, yeah, that will take some fucking resources. Pardon my language for cussing so much. This has me really mad. I know special agents, okay? I talked to these people. I talked to one this morning about this case. This is something that pisses them off. This is something that pisses me off. This is something that should piss you off. There is a system in place that is designed to keep your resources, your tax dollars from being wasted to having, it's like needing to swat a fly and bringing in a battleship to do it. There is I can't tell you enough. There is a system in place that works to prevent that from happening. And this administration, and this is why I'm raising the red flags about this, is intentionally ripping that system away and forcing every layer of that system to not adhere to it. Why? Why would they do that? So they can take these stories to Cletus, to your drunk uncle, to their base, which is quivering right now. They know they're losing their base. And they can sell them some bigotry. Because the Sorianos are brown. They're brown. They're going to tell the story will be this is more immigrant crime, and the Democrats want this. You know why? Every good lie has a kernel of truth. The Sorianos, they work in a food desert. And we've been desperately trying to get any way we can. The capitalists won't do it. They won't move into these food deserts. So we've been doing everything we can to get small grocers to reopen in these areas. We've been trying to fix a problem. So the Republicans think they've got our own, they think they're going to judo us. They think they're going to use our own momentum. And they're going to say, look at those Democrats. Look, all they care about is them brown people. That's it. That's all they care about, them brown people that have these programs that they know is nothing but fraud. They know because government's bad. Government's bad. No, we Democrats are trying to solve the problem of food deserts, of people not having access to grocery stores. And yes, anytime the government does anything, if the government said, you know what, there's too many hangnails, if it got to be a debilitating problem and Americans were hobbling around because they all had hangnails and they couldn't participate in sports and they couldn't join the military because they got hangnails, the government would say, you know what, we got to come up with a program to fix this. We do. All right, we'll subsidize the purchase of nail clippers. Here, everybody get out, get your own nail clippers. I got toenail clippers here. We're going to subsidize toenail clippers. There would be some motherfucker in there that would abuse that, some criminal that would abuse that. And there would be a Republican waiting to say, look, government's bad. Somebody stole. Meanwhile, everybody's walking around again. Everybody's good. Everybody's playing soccer. Everybody's doing all the shit that they used to do because we fixed the problem. But there was this one little bit of crime that the Broligarchs, man, they're going to sell it. This is going to be an October surprise. It is. They're setting it up right now. And I'm telling you in advance, they are setting it up right now. Literally taking U.S. prosecutors and telling them, you will do this. You will not do what we trained you to do. We trained you to DTR. Anybody know what DTR means? Anybody? Here's a question. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. I want to know if you folks are as good as you are. I want to know if you're as good as I think you are in the chat. Who knows what DTR means? I hope your coffee's as good as mine. DTR, down the road. Down the road. DTR. When you DTR something, you get that shit out of here. Send that shit down the road. We're not dealing with that here. They're taking, again, our prosecutors and forcing them to take cases they would normally DTR, send to locals, they're forcing them to take the cases so that in 2 months' time, in October, the media, which is compliant and complicit and chosen a side, will run a big story about all the petty crime that Trump has rooted out of the system that we batty Democrats created to end these food deserts. There was just massive fraud, and it's not. It's not. There's a reason it's called petty fraud, because it is petty. But that's the story, man. That's the story. And it will work on their base. It will work on their base. It's like eating the dogs, eating the cats. You knew that shit was stupid the minute it left his mouth. You knew that shit was stupid. But there's a bunch of old, wrinkly ass, miserable white people that went, oh, our little Annabelle. They're going to eat our little Annabelle. Where's our little Yorkie? Oh my God, did the immigrants eat her? My co-host made it. All right. I'm hearing that there are requests to see Maya. Y'all ain't gonna believe this shit. In 2 weeks, look at the size of this dog. Come here, girl. Come on. Oh, that's my big girl. Oh, that's my big girl. Look at the size of this dog already. She has doubled in size. Come on. Show them your pretty face. They love the radar ears. Show them your radar ears. Oh, you nervous. You nervous, aren't you? Oh, there's mama. There's mama over there. There's a mama over there. Yeah. Look at the size of her head already. She has doubled in size, man, in 2 weeks. And oh my God, she finally gets a bath today. She finally gets a bath today. See, she's had, I know it's too early. Please don't write me a ton of emails. I know it's too early. I didn't do this. I didn't choose this. Shelters aren't being bad when they do this. They have to do it to control pet populations. Yes, 2 months is way too early to spay a female, but they have to do it at the shelters. They do. And she was spayed. Look, there's just a little bitty mark left right there. It's almost healed up. So we haven't been able to take a bath. So my little girl here is sending this shirt to the laundry because she smells like corn chips. She smells like corn chips. She does. That's my girl. That's my girl. Show him your alligator. Show him your alligator. Should I roll my sleeve up and show him what you did to my arm? Look how big this girl is already. She's doubled in size. But yeah, she's getting her first bath today. And she's not going to smell like corn chips no more. Anyway, you be a good girl. You be a good girl. Oh, you go chew your stuff. That's my girl. Anyways, little diversion. But yeah, I want to wrap this up and I want to land this plane. So you know, so you're prepared for it. That's what they're doing. That's what this whole hide in the catering truck thing was supposed to be. That's, run home to mama. Run home to mama. That's what it was supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be is run home to mama. They're trying to assassinate Trump. And they thought that's not going to work. It didn't work. This isn't going to work either because we're going to get ahead of it. I want the reception to when they try to run this story. And believe me, I want to say it one more time. The media absolutely is going to go along with this. The media is that because bigotry sells. Bigotry is a hell of a drug. It is. It is a hell of a drug. These bigots, man, I'm telling you, like I was saying about eating the dogs, eating the cats, they're, where's my little puppy? Stupid shit. You knew it when you heard it. They're going to go for it. But yeah, we have more going on today. The USS Lincoln is finally going to be relieved. The USS George Washington is on its way from the Pacific. It normally, and again, this is same shit. The George Washington is our check on China. If if China ever gets too saucy in the China Sea or starts trying to bully Taiwan, which they will again immediately, the George Washington is no longer in the waters there. It's moving to the Persian Gulf. the Arabian Sea outside the Persian Gulf. It's not going to be there. So yeah, China's going to immediately start bullying Taiwan again. But this isn't a fix. This isn't a fix. Just to remind everybody what we're talking about here. It's this. Trump knows they're in trouble. The story about the fact that we've run out of long-range missiles has emboldened Iran. They've broken off all negotiations. They said, we're not going to negotiate with you again until January 2029. That story absolutely emboldened Iran. It did. And it's Trump's fault. It is Hegseth's fault. We're going to talk about this. They got into this stupidly. Y'all remember Norman Schwarzkopf? Storm and Norman Schwarzkopf? You remember the leadership that we had in the lead up to the Iran war? That wasn't done overnight. These were real military leaders. And I've talked about this. If you are a longtime member of the show, you've heard me talk about how they have eliminated top commanders in our military and replaced them with people who are not great leaders. They are not. They are not great leaders. Their number one criteria is, will you swear fealty to Trump? So this is what that got us. They didn't look at the logistics of a long-term Iran war. They were unprepared for it. See, the way it works, is there are ships. It's called the MSC, the Military Sea Lift Command. When you see you'll see the picture of an aircraft carrier, but if you pan out, there's 50 ships around it. Yeah, there are other, there are destroyers, there are other things in it's an armada. It's a carrier attack group. But the most important part of that group are the logistics vessels. There are vessels that are doing nothing but ferrying oil. Yeah, they're literally a tanker part of this attack group. There are ships that carry food and other supplies like shampoo and soap, all of which the USS Abraham Lincoln ran out of. Conditions are so bad on the USS Abraham Lincoln, it's been in the news, their sailors are attempting suicide. See, the Abraham Lincoln was supposed to return to port in May. And that's what these carrier groups do. They go out and they serve you got to forgive me. She's figured out how to make them squeak. They will go out on a deployment with an intended end date. They know, okay, we're going to be at sea for X amount of time. We've got to have this amount of food, this amount of soap, and they plan for it. When war comes, that changes. And you have to have military leaders that understand that. You know who was brilliant about this? Patton. General George S. Patton. That is one of the things that absolutely he excelled at. People talk about his aggression. People talk about his battlefield strategy. No, he understood. He came from cavalry was his background. He understood. He started on horses. He understood you got to have food for your freaking horses. You've got to have, when they switched over, he championed, as a young officer, he championed the conversion from, to what we consider modern tanks. It all started. He was one of the people in the military that was like, hey, let's get away from cavalry and go to armored cavalry. But he understood fuel. He understood oil. He understood maintenance. He understood all of it. These military commanders we have now have been promoted to serve Trump first. And they're not very fucking good at their job. Because the Abraham Lincoln was supposed to return to port in May. And you've seen the pictures. You've seen the pictures of the food. You saw these. Well, what was MAGA's response to this? They said this is fake news. Fake news. This was one soldier who was a Democrat sent a picture trying to make the president look bad. Well, then another soldier said no. Another sailor said no. Pardon me, sailor said no. These are my rations. This is what I'm eating. This is my meal. And that fork right there gives you an idea of the size of these portions. But again, MAGA said, oh, fake news. It wasn't fake news. And the pictures have come and come and come. And I encourage you, do a Google search for images, do a search for what's going on as far as USS Abraham Lincoln, food rationing, etc. And there are image after image after image after image of our sailors. This is it. I mean, look at this fork here on the left-hand side. This is their meal. It's a scoop of macaroni noodles with some red pepper flakes on it and a single dollop of mashed potatoes. That's it. I mean, that would be depressing as it is. And there's a reason. We're going to talk about this. We're going to dive into this because it is more than just the sheer stupidity of not understanding the logistics of what they were getting into, of prioritizing politics. Because remember, this all started for politics. This was a political decision. There was no need for this. There was no pressing, imminent need. It was a political decision. Our president was in trouble politically and needed a distraction and wanted to be a hero. Benjamin Netanyahu wanted to take Lebanese land. And he convinced our idiot president that they could get away with this. We'll just have a little skirmish and a run, and that's it. It'll be easy. It'll be easy. Same false bullshit information that always comes out of Israel. And our idiot president fell for it. But no, it wasn't just the food. These aircraft carriers are not meant for such extended deployments. They're not built to go forever. The toilets backed up. Ship wide. They were down to one set of functioning toilets on an aircraft carrier with 5,000 people on it. Folks, they were shitting overboard. They were shitting over the side of the ship. They're out of soap. They're out of soap. The showers are moldy because they don't have the soap to do the maintenance and clean the showers. 5,000 people shuffling through a water bath with no soap. trying to rinse their dirty asses. And on and on and on. Because this ship was supposed to return to port in May, June, July. It is now August. And it's finally being relieved and sent back to port so that it can do the maintenance and restock and give these sailors a little time off. They're committing suicide, folks. They're literally jumping over the side. They stopped another one. They stopped him before he could jump. A father. His last communication to his wife was he could not take it anymore. He was sorry. But, Pete Hegseth, because, Iran knows this. Iran is tech savvy. They know where we're at. So they're not negotiating. They're like, cool, keep it up. Keep it up. We're sending oil to China and you won't fuck with China. Keep it up. Go ahead. We'll break you. Either quit and give us everything we demand or keep it up. We don't care. Either one. They're literally using the North Vietnamese tactic. And it's working. It's working brilliantly. But you got Pete Hegseth saying, oh, no, we can keep this up indefinitely. Folks, the George Washington left port in May. It's stationed out of Japan. It's a deployment that sailors love. They love going to Japan. They do. They love their home port being in Japan. It's a good thing. But they left Japan in May. They're due to return in November, September, October, November. They bought themselves 3 months. And Iran knows this. They know the George Washington cannot stay on station forever. They know. They know. They know that that's bullshit. But they also, MAGA is stupid. MAGA is not you. We are not the same. MAGA is not you. We are not the same, people. We're not. We're just not. You look for information. That's why I'm telling you, the easiest thing in the world for me, if I wanted to be a selfish piece of shit, would be to take this pen off and start talking right-wing bullshit, because I can say anything as long as it feeds bigotry and tells them they're special. They'll believe it. You people question everything. Like I just showed you, like Maya, the fact that she was fixed at 2 months. I will get emails that say, why did you fix your dog at 2 months? That you can't do that. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. The shelters do it. She's a shelter puppy. Shelters do it to stop to keep the pet population down. They know they have this puppy, so they will do it at the last possible chance. That's why when you go to a shelter, there will be puppies wearing the cones of shame. Yes, they should wait till 6 months. They don't have that option. But y'all will hold me to account because y'all don't just put up with bullshit. MAGA does. As long as it's bigotry, as long as it tells them they're special and that and fits their delusional narratives that all you do is love brown people, the people that scare them to death. All you want to do is cheat, and they would win every election if there wasn't so much fraud. Bitch, you control all 3 branches of government. What fraud? Are you telling me you cheated? Is this a confession? But this is actually the core of the problem. And why I say we are not the same. I know I'm way behind on the comments, folks. I will come back to the comments and I will read them here in a minute. But I don't want to lose the train on this. This is important. This is really important. This is why systemically we. You know what? We'll put a pause in it. We'll come back to it. I want to catch up on your comments. I don't want to get that far behind. There's already 40 comments out there. Skeet Sayre. Remember One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? That is what we're living with Handmaid's Tale in 1984 thrown in. So many of the characters are transferable like Goebbels, Goering, and Himmler. I will let you decide who fits. By the way, Trump is Mussolini. I hear you, brother. I hear you. And they do. They're literally replaying the same strategies that those people used. And people just act like they don't see it coming. John, thank you. Thank you for always being here, brother. Our Canadian friends in the house. Yeah, thank you for gifting the memberships, brother. Thank you. Rich, thank you for gifting the memberships. Y'all are all so generous. Thank you for giving those away to people. Scott, how about Choke Canyon and Lake Corpus Christi suddenly filling up in a few months before the election? Coincidence? Yeah, we have had an astronomical this whole weather pattern that is hitting everyone else with drought, changing weather patterns. I should have brown grass right now. I do not. I have green grass right now in the middle of August in Texas. Ask anybody in the audience. That is unheard of. That doesn't happen. You have to water to make that. I haven't watered shit. When the weather patterns change, I normally don't have August, no rain, none whatsoever. We are so far ahead of rain, it's not even funny. So yeah, you've got some lakes that are filling up, and it has everything to do with global warming. Everything to do with global warming. All of these patterns are changing, and it's like I haven't been able. I've got an orchard on my property. In the last 3 years, I've gotten almost no fruit. In the last 2 years, I've gotten no fruit out of my orchard because the blooms will set and then we will get a late freeze every year. Every year. Because the weather cycles are changing. We're doing this. This is what climate change means. And no, it's not just an okay cycle that's going to work. That's what Cletus and the idiots will think. Well, it's just normal that should happen. No, it's not. No, it's not. ET, it is early voting in Florida, and even if you are not Republican or Democrat, there are still nonpartisan races and or ballot measures to vote on. Get out and vote. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ET, for keeping everybody reminded. Skeet Sayre, the catering truck made Levitt realize that having a baby for Trump did not put her above HARP. That is why she quit. There is a great story out from the Daily Beast. Matter of fact, I'll just pull it up for you. I'll pull it up one so you can see the title. Let me find it. Hell, I can't find it. But here's another one. Trump called Carolyn Levitt when she was on leave 80 times. 80 times. Yeah, that freaked her out. It did. That freaked her out. Imagine being her husband, her decrepit old geriatric. Remember, she married a guy that was 32 the day she was born. Yeah. Imagine being out on maternity leave and your boss calls you 80 times. That's insane. That is insane. Then you had the catering truck thing where, yeah, he left her on the bait plane. Yeah, I think all of that contributed to her quitting. I know that if my wife were out on medical leave and her boss had called her incessantly like that, yeah, I'd have put my foot down too. I would have. I think there were several contributing factors, and that was really freaking weird. That was really weird. Why would he call her that much? Dave Barone never passed the smell test for me. Huh? Me either, brother. Scott's for the guys on the Lincoln. Nobody says anything about the Dear John letters rolling in. I've served on a carrier before. Yep. Yeah. You know, you got wives at home waiting, and all of a sudden you're 3 months overdue. Mike Daly to them. Shit, I fall apart when my wife has to leave for a week. Mike Daly to them. Good morning, brother. The catering truck story is a big deal. A president is like a captain. Be willing to go down with the ship. Trump is Lord Fuckwad. Some of you may die. I'm good with that. Some of you may die, but that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Skeet Sear acting like Turkey is a danger to the USA. Show how foolish this all is. Yep. I hear you. Israel is enjoying dog walking the Mad King, and we want to set up direct avenues for them to further dog walk us via closer military ties. Elect Democrats. It's the only way to stop this shit. Jerry Ring, they're paying $20 million so ICE gets electric shock gloves. So soon we'll have idiots with PTSD, anger problems, and racists shocking anyone they want. I got a story about ICE here. Stick with me. Stick with me. We've got a story about ICE that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Skeet Sear, they did it for the narrative. Putin and Bibi control the Mad King. Skeet Sear, the entire administration lives in a bubble where the stock market is a gauge of how well we're all doing. You know, the stock market is fantasy land right now. Michael Antitu, thank you for gifting the membership, sir. Thank you. Peter Campbell, thanks for making the community better. Peter Campbell, thanks for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Like I said, thank you for making the community better. Stoneflower Dragon, we need to leave this whole region in the rear view. I feel that sentiment in my soul. I really do. Kyra loves Michael. Thank you. Thank you for being here all the time, Kyra. ET, one place I worked at had a multi-year contract to produce about 10 to 20 matched filter sets, 5 per year, every week for the Pack 3. The internal lead time for just one set was over a couple of months from start to finish. Get active. Yep. You can't fix this overnight, and they will not go to Congress before the midterms to get the funding they need to restore this stuff. And I hope that they don't restore it all. We have to, our soldiers and sailors and stuff in military, we love you and we know and we support you. We do. But we cannot afford a military this size anymore. They're telling us that grandma is too expensive, but they got money for stupid shit like this. That's got to stop. And it has nothing to do with you guys that are serving admirably. We love you guys, but we've got to go down a different path. ET, did you see the troll video by Musk over buying the UK? No, I didn't see that one, man. Stupid shit out of Musk is very low on my radar. ET, I am the opinion that the Mad King's removal through whatever means will be the midterms October surprise. Otherwise, Repugs will lose bigly. Yeah, he's all they got left. Steve Piff, I want the October surprise to be Trump passing. Everybody does. Everybody does. ET, I was at an all-party town hall for Florida 7 candidates where the Repugs kept harping the fraud without making specifics. People get involved. Yep. They'll lie. They'll just make up a number. They'll just lie. Josh Jameson, have you heard Hal's theory that the plane Trump took was a med plane and didn't want folks to see all the doctors and equipment on the plane, like he's suing using one media frenzy to cover up the lie? I hadn't heard that one yet. I do know that this reporting is coming out that this was actually a report from Israel that was debunked ahead of time. Peter Kimball, crime and fraud is real. Just look at the list of criminals and fraudsters Donald J. Trump has pardoned. Stay informed and involved. Vote for your family and your future. Yep. People committing Medicare fraud. He's pardoning them and then telling you we got to get rid of Medicare because of brown people. It's fucking ridiculous. Crafty Ass Gardner, thank you for gifting the memberships. I appreciate you. Santista, hey, Texas Paul, it's time for you to have president's diapers changed. I hear you. I hear you. Hermana Delphi, Trump pardons all the wealthy fraudsters. Yep, he does. E.T., the destruction of America, little d, democracy and restoring the power of the oligarchy and feudalism and privileged politics is what they are doing. Yep. ET, do not forget, they also DTR'd many poison pills into the big ugly bill that are set to come after the midterms so that they can blame Dems and set up 2028. Yes, that is a fact. That is a fact. There are cuts to Medicare. That bill is a freaking nightmare. And they kicked it down the road till after the midterms. Bonita Parida, thank you for being here. Texas Paul sounds a little like abominable snowman with Bugs Bunny when he did voicing. Okay, hypothesis. Could they be keeping legal busy to not be available for voting fraud in November? Thoughts? This is absolutely 100% a multifaceted distraction, but I promise you, they will run home to the bigotry. That will be the core of it. Bigotry works with the MAGA base. It does. We will have a show where I just go, and there it is. PSA, if you have hostas in your garden and pets, remove them, please. All parts are toxic. Nearly lost my fur baby yesterday. I'm so sorry, Tracy. I'm so sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of poison plants out there. And that, my name, Maya, she's got that puppy thing where everything goes in her mouth. Everything. ET, it is less than 12 weeks until the general election. Verify your voter registration and deadline dates. Know your early voting dates. Get involved. Amen. I'm very sorry to hear about your puppy. I am. I'm very sorry. I know that is just heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. Mike Daly the Dim. General Schwarzkopf and H.W. Bush knew what war means. General Bone Spurs and Keg Breath don't have a clue. E.T., the deputy commander of NORAD, took a loss of further career by finally speaking out. Part of a warning in relation to Cuba and reported drone coverage of the U.S. You know, I took so much heat. Another creator got offended because I said that they were removing the leadership when they were pulling that meeting together. You know, the warfighters meeting. I said, look, this is it. This is it. They are going to remove top leadership and replace them with sycophants. And I had people attack me. You don't know what you're talking about. You never served. No, I never said I did. But I know politics and I know these pieces of shit. And what has happened? Absolutely what I said was going to happen. They have removed good leader after good leader after good leader and replaced them with generals whose number one characteristic and the number one thing they bring to the table is they are Trump sycophants. They are MAGA first. Chandra Patton, Keg's Breath couldn't lead a Boy Scout troop. I've been hair on fire about what's happening with our military. They're imbeciles. You wait till I finish this, man. Your heads are going to explode. ET, they were having to deal with the reality of an aircraft carrier group possibly mutinying, which has never been a thing in the past, even during NUM. Yeah. Floating prison. I hear you. Oregon Wine Lady. And in the past, the Navy was known for having the best food of the armed services. Mm-hmm. That's true. Sandy, how bad does it have to be to jump into the ocean? It's killing me that we're here. Glenn Kaneko, thank you for being so generous, sir. Thank you for gifting the membership. Santista, Trump is getting ready for the Civil War like the movie with his drone airport. Diane Bree Garage. Hey, Texas Paul, DOD spent all the money on the government contracts to Trump's family and friends, but can't feed our soldiers. I may be wrong or it's brainless. Stay tuned. That's where we're going next. New West Bill. Thank you for supporting the show. Colleen, Sarah, did they really vote to put shit's name back on the Kennedy Center? What the fuck? Yeah, they think they found a loophole. It's not going to work, though. They think they found a loophole, but it's not going to work. It's not. What she's talking about is, they told a judge told Trump, you got to take your name off the Kennedy Center. You can't rename it. It was named via an act of Congress. It takes Congress to rename it. You can't rename it the Trump Center. So the loophole they think they found, believe it or not, they're really going to do this. They voted to say the Kennedy Center recently renovated by President Donald J. Trump. That is going to be the name of the Kennedy. It's still changing the name. He is so desperate to put his name on the side of that building. So desperate. What? He's a pathetic little pitiful freak. I tell you what, make me president. I will remove Trump's existence from our nation. Every hint that he ever existed, I will remove it from our nation. I will restore the White House to what it was when he took office and turn it into a museum, because we need a new White House anyways. We need a new executive office anyways. I'll move everything out of the White House. I'll turn the White House into a museum, hand it over to you people. I will declare a state of emergency. I will hang the traitors in Congress that work with our enemies. I'll do it all. Make me president. I've got the stones to do it. I don't care. This is the core of this problem. This is the core of this problem. Fragility of military sea left command could hold Navy back from world-class status, CNO Caudle says. This was March 2026. And it's the military sea lift command that carries the supplies to these armadas. Why is this significant? Why is this important? Well, first, let's talk about what they're focused on. It isn't fixing problems. It isn't. That's what Democrats do. Democrats look at a problem and we fix it. This is what we do. It's not sexy. It's boring. People forget that we're doing it, so they pay attention to the crazy shit that Republicans say. We were working on that problem. Stick with me. What are Republicans doing? Where are their resources going? What are they focused on? You remember this. We've talked about this in 2 different shows. Steve Feinberg, the Deputy Secretary of Defense, the guy that owns Cerberus Capital, bought Subic Bay. He bought Subic Bay. They renamed it Aguila Subic Shipyard. He owns that shipyard. We are sending equipment and resources to that now private shipyard and paying storage to put it there. We're paying them to ferry this shit off the ships. We're paying them for parking lot space. The Deputy Secretary of Defense, Stephen Feinberg, his company owns it. And our military is paying them to store. It's grift all the time. This is the shit that they're focused on. This is the shit that they're doing. Compare that to Democrats and what we were doing. This problem with our military sea lift command has been around forever. Forever it has been here. It's a problem. We don't have the logistical capability to handle long-term deployments like this. With the Navy, we don't. The ships that we used to do that were decrepit and old. And as part of the fix during the Biden administration, they retired a lot of those old, decrepit ships. Then the Biden administration went to work to fix this problem. But the problem is, it's not a quick fix. This is something that was systemically created by Republicans. If you're new to the show, this may be something new that you're hearing. If long-term members will know, we've talked about this. You go back to the Reagan years. You go back to his chief of staff, Don Regan. This is a guy that came out of Merrill Lynch. He believed all the delusion, all the bullshit. Don Regan believed in his soul that unions were the stepping stone to communism. See, back in the 1980s, Don Regan was an old man. He grew up in the 50s, with the Teamsters and Jimmy Hoffa and all that stuff. And he hated it. Hated it. He hated organized labor. And Reagan, like Trump, had dementia. He was gone. He was mentally gone. So the people around him ran their own agendas, and Don Regan went to every American corporation and said, outsource jobs, move them overseas, bleed the unions to death. No jobs, no unions, move overseas. It is better to have pure capitalism and ship our jobs to China than it is to have these unions, because these unions are commies. That is a real thing. Old, rich white dudes have been this delusional for a very long time. And we have had decades and decades of industry after industry after industry being just depleted, destroyed. The jobs and the manufacturing and the material production, everything being moved overseas. And it all comes down to this fundamental belief that us coalescing together into a union, us demanding fair wages, us demanding safety on the job, us demanding decency, everything that you believe in, that's communism to them. It's not even close. It's not even close. But that pervasive belief is at the core of everything they have done for the last 60 years. Folks, it's been 45 years since Reagan. And what the net result is, we don't build ships here anymore. You remember after World War II, what our greatest contribution was? It was material. It was the Liberty ships. Germany could not believe that we built an entire armada of ships. They couldn't sink them faster than we were building them. In our American shipyards. They're gone. They don't exist anymore. Don Regan and the bigot oligarchs that believe in things like the John Birch Society, all of those perverted, sick guys that had a warped view of the world, they did. They outsourced our jobs. They sent them overseas. Better that than unions. And we do not build ships here anymore. The only shipyards we have are like electric boat, GE's electric boat. It's a specialty shipyard. It builds submarines, and it takes them forever to build a single boat. They're not scaled for production, for things like ships that the Sea Lift Command needs. They can't do it. They can't. And Biden knew this. He did. But to fix that, decades and half a century of damage, to fix it, you've got to address it as the systemic problem that it is. He knew it wasn't going to be something he was going to be able to fix in his administration. Even if he had served 8 years, he knew they weren't going to be able to fix everything that had been broken with decades and decades of piss poor policy. But they knew it had to be done. So what did he do? Well, one, they got rid of the old ships. They were just decrepit and falling apart. They were dangerous. He got rid of the old ships. Forced the military to deal with this reality. They really believe that if they force the military to deal with this reality, that you would get some of the oligarchs that would go along with re-enhancing, rebuilding our shipyards, moving things home. That didn't happen. That did not happen. That was a miscalculation on Biden's part. He too often, like we Democrats do, we do not accept what these people are. And he badly miscalculated on that aspect. Oh man, that is some good. I need to find out what that is. That stuff's got like hints of chocolate in it. Whew. I don't mean sweet like chocolate. I mean just in the background. Man, that is some good coffee. But they also address the fact that we don't build the steel here, or the aluminum, or the titanium, or anything that we need for new modern shipbuilding. We also don't have the workforce. The Biden administration laid the groundwork to deal with all of these systemic issues. They tariffed Chinese steel. As much as we hate tariffs, they tariffed Chinese steel and aluminum. They also put sanctions on China because China was undercutting all of the competitors in our countries that we were going to have to partner with to do this. Since American companies like GE would not invest, Biden rolled with the punches and said, okay, we'll work with companies like South Korea's Hyundai Heavy Industries. We'll have them build shipyards here full of American employees so that we've got the system in place. If we ever go to war, we can nationalize these shipyards, but we'll partner with South Korea. They're building ships. So they partnered with a couple companies, and they will work. They had the plans laid. The negotiations were done to start opening shipyards here in the United States. Meanwhile, again, multifaceted. This is a deep problem that's going to take a long time. You can't build a shipyard overnight. You just can't. We also know, those cranes that lift, that, you see at ports that lift containers off of ships? Do you know we don't build those? We don't. You know who's got a monopoly on those? China. So the Biden administration knew we've got to break that monopoly. We've got to be able to build out our own infrastructure. And again, They partnered with Hyundai Heavy Industries and other companies out of South Korea to put these things in place, to start laying the foundation to fix a problem, a systemic problem that Republicans have created over decades. Decades of outsourcing, decades of greed, decades of Gordon Gekko, greed is good. It's left us unsafe. And what's going on with the Abraham Lincoln is a living manifestation of just how unsafe we are. Our aircraft carriers that are built for indefinite deployment, they're nuclear. They can run without fuel. If we can service them, they can run indefinitely, can no longer run indefinitely. In fact, 3 months after their deployment is supposed to end, the Abraham Lincoln is a disaster. It's because the support fleet is not there. And Joe Biden was working. He knew this. He's been in government for a long time, had been in government for a very long time. This is a problem that was not going to be fixed overnight. We were going to have to revitalize the steel industry, the transportation industry. We were going to have to revitalize. It was an all-encompassing fix that has to happen to totally rebirth an industry at home. And they were doing the work, man. They were doing the work. They were. And then Trump got elected again. And that is over. Over. This is what the Trump administration is saying their fix is going to be. Fuck unions, fuck American workers, fuck revitalizing an industry, fuck doing the work. We're going to let the broligarchs do what, like, Steve Feinberg is doing. Go overseas, sell out America. And this makes us no safer. They want a contract with China. They want a contract with the same companies that the Biden administration had arranged to build shipyards here. I mean, you understand the safety that allows us to have. If a big war breaks out, we can nationalize those shipyards. We'll have the infrastructure here. Oh, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to leave that infrastructure in Korea, in China, in India. How is that going to serve us if this is just Iran. This is just Iran. This is not a world war. What if something big happens? Are you starting to get the idea of just how weak these Republicans have made us and this outsourcing policy has made us? And this is their answer. Just continue doing the same shit. Outsource. Oh no, can't have any unions here. Can't have any industry here. They'll want health care. Are you kidding me? We can't build those ships here. They'll want health care. They'll want safe working conditions. Fuck that noise. That's coming. That's coming. That's communism. So, because there's a problem that we are facing as a nation, and again, we are not the same. The Democrats looked at it and said, this is a major systemic problem. This is the result of decades of bad policy. We have to fix this. and it's not going to be an overnight fix. The Republicans fought Joe Biden every step of the way. The Republicans took office. They bend over to the oligarchs. They bend over to the people that keeps the Republican Party funded. And the oligarchs, they don't want American jobs. They want AI. They don't want to have to pay you. No, they want AI. They want to send jobs overseas where they can pay somebody to work in a sweatshop and then turn around and sell the product in Macy's. And they're too stupid to see the collapse that's coming. They're too stupid to see how weak and unsafe this makes us. I love people. I love people. There's safety in our community. The fact that, we're all different. We are all different people here. There's members of the LGBTQIA plus community here. I'm not LGBTQIA plus, but they're my brothers and sisters. And the fact that we're together makes us safer. They're members of the Black community here. I am not Black, but they're my brothers and sisters. And as long as I fight for them and they fight for me, we're safe. This is not a hard concept. As long as we're together and we're working for the good of all of us, we're safe. They don't see that. We are not the same. They don't believe that. They believe that if you and I and all of us, we start taking care of each other and making things better for all of us, that's communism. They don't want that because it means the oligarchs can't just take and take and take. And they're not bright people. They don't see. They think that they're these Ubermensch. They think that they're these people that are, they've got a handle on this. Folks, we're running out of fuel. We're running out of fuel. They're the kind of people that listen to Benjamin Netanyahu. They believe delusions and stupidity, just like Don Regan did back in the 80s with unions. That's communism. They believe these delusions. Listen, somebody brought up Elon Musk. I don't even listen to Elon Musk anymore, but listen to the stupid shit he says. He believes this. These are not bright people. They aren't. They are not bright people. They don't understand. They're endangering themselves. They don't understand that they're hurting their own businesses. They're not super bright. They aren't. You can look at the fact that every time a Democrat's in charge, every time, we haven't held all three branches of government since 1969, but the times at which we do control government, at least one branch of it, we prosper. We prosper as a people. God, imagine what we could do if we controlled all three branches. When we control one branch, the bleeding stops. When we control two branches, we prosper. Even the oligarchs prosper, but they can't see it. They can't see it because everything we do runs counter to their fantasies. It runs counter to their fantasies. They can't understand that if nobody here's rich. What do? If you get an extra $100, what do? You spend it. You drive the economy. What do immigrants do? What do immigrants do? They're an engine to our economy. They come in poor. They live in humble housing with shitty cars and shitty clothes and work their asses off, and they go out and they buy clothes. They spend that money in the economy. They buy better cars. In the meantime, they buy parts at the auto parts store to keep their shitty car running. They live the American dream, and the oligarchs are too stupid because they live in this bigot fantasy, this supremacy fantasy that they live in. They can't understand that you people that I love so much because I can see it, you're everything. You're everything. And they just don't get it. Hell, they just spent $2.4 trillion on AI because they think it's going to make it so they don't need half of you. And they're saying that out loud. If you'll just listen to them. They're so deluded that they just spent $2.4 trillion developing something that there's no feasible way. There's no amount of profits that any of their companies can generate to bring in that kind of profit to pay for this. Because they think it's going to make them not need half of you. Because they don't understand America isn't dirt. Canada isn't dirt. Europe, England, Norway, France, Sweden, Africa isn't dirt. All of it. It's the people. You know, people are like, well, we're going to destroy Earth. No, we're not. No, we're not. Earth will be here. Earth doesn't give a shit about climate or what little creatures are scurrying across the top of it. Earth will be here. What you're destroying is us. And they don't get it. That is the difference between you and me and them. They don't get it. It's okay to hate people. As long as I feel good about myself, feel superior, don't matter if everything's costing me more and gas is costing me more. As long as I feel superior, it's okay. They don't get that it has repercussions. They don't get that we blossom and we flourish if we just try to be good stewards, take care of one another, take care of the planet. Everybody will make money. Everybody will be better. It's really simple. But they're your enemy because they will fight you tooth and nail. And if you don't believe me, look what they're doing with these petty fraud investigations, trying to set up this narrative that perpetuates this bullshit. That's the most important thing to them, not the people. It's a little bit of power and some self-superiority and bigotry. That's everything to them. We are not the same. And that's the one thing you can give to Trump. He brought this out. He laid it bare. You know, you had brilliant people like George Carlin that would tell us this stuff over and over and over again in such a hilarious way that we didn't ever really take it seriously. We didn't take it to heart. Trump made it real. Trump made it very, very real. And you've got to give him that. And folks, if you don't believe it, look, they're doing this. ICE has been a failure because, again, they're stupid. They're stupid people. They don't understand logistics. They don't understand what a baby agent is. They've never had anybody explain to them that an agent's got to be on the job for 5 years before he's not stupid anymore. So they thought they could just shit an organization, throw a bunch of money at it. Well, it's been a disaster. It's been a disaster. And some traitor motherfucker sat down and explained that to them. So now they're doing this. Their new program is to turn existing law enforcement agencies into immigration. That's the new program. They've realized that ICE is a disaster. You got stuff like this. This is the latest one to go. And again, kudos to people for sharing this stuff, but so few people understand the big picture of it and what it means. I want you to watch this guy. This just happened. This just happened to Carolina Molina. We'll talk about it on the other side, what this is. You may have seen this already. Stick with me.
You recorded us. You almost ran us over.
I didn't almost
You
run
almost
over.
ran us over.
You're
Stop
so
playing.
full of shit.
Stop playing.
You are full of shit.
All right? You're not fun.
Again, forgive me for slurping in there. I didn't want to mute myself. Again, you weaponized your vehicle. That's what they're telling her. You weaponized your vehicle. You tried to run us over. That was a lie. That was a lie. That was a lie. That ICE agent has a gun pointed at the head of Carolina Molina. You want to know why we know that was a lie? Carolina Molina is a delivery person. She works for a printer. She's delivering business cards. This is her job. These fucking asshats, because she was behind them for a little while when she was making her deliveries, confused her for an activist that was keeping track of them. That's a thing. We have people on the left, well-meaning people on the left, that follow ICE around, and then they notify people in the communities, hey, ICE is in this community. ICE is here today, and it infuriates them. It infuriates them. This fucking asshat thought Carolina Molina was one of those people. She's just doing her pinche job. Out there making deliveries. But because she's a delivery agent for a large printer, she's got a dash cam. She's got it all on video. You fucking moron. She's got it all on video. She never weaponized her vehicle. She never came close to you. She never did anything. You're having a fucking meltdown because you made an assumption of who she was. And you didn't give a shit about our Constitution, because what those people are doing following ICE is not a crime. In fact, it's guaranteed by the Constitution that you can do that. But they hate it so much. This fucker was going into the script. You weaponized your vehicle. I'm going to start it over. You weaponized your vehicle. You're trying to kill us. I'm pointing a gun at your head. Now that you know the background, we'll watch the whole video again.
You recorded us. You almost ran us over.
I didn't almost
You
run
almost
over.
ran us over.
You're
Stop
so
playing.
full of shit.
Stop playing.
You are full of shit.
All right? You're not funny.
You're not funny.
I will arrest you. Keep it up.
I'm a legal
Keep it up.
citizen.
I don't care.
Oh my goodness.
We have to try to lock you up.
Okay. For what?
The one that tried to run us over.
Run you over when? I got recording. I got dash cam. I got dash cam. That's a lie. Y'all fucking full of shit. You're full of shit. I got a dash cam. I never tried to run you over.
I've never met Carolina Molina in my life, but I love that woman. I love it. I got dash cam. I got video. Fuck you. I love that woman. I love that woman. That's America, baby. That is America. You people that are part of our community that aren't in America, that you ask me, how can you live in Texas? How can you do this? Because that is an American. That's the kind of American that stood up to King George and said, get the fuck out. That's what it means to be an American. That's us. That's who we are. That's who we are. Guy walks up, puts a gun to her head, and she's like, fuck you, asshole. That's an American. Right there. I don't know who. I've never met Carolina Molina, but I love that woman. And those are the kind of assholes they have in ICE. And they know it. They know it. And they know cameras are everywhere now. Cameras are everywhere. So what are they doing? Just like diverting resources with, having U.S. attorneys chasing bullshit little fraud cases that are petty. They're going to law enforcement agencies that have seasoned veteran officer agents that are all trained. They're not baby agents anymore. They're the people doing the job that we pay them to do, that we want them to do. And now they're going to take and divert those people to their immigration fantasy. They're going to put immigration enforcement on their plate. That is the new. It's not a new program. 287B, it's existed for about 30 years, but it's not meant for this purpose. It's a well-intentioned thing that has a place. It's in place so that if a local law enforcement agency busts a cartel, drug running organization or human trafficking organization, they can hold people for immigration crimes. Forgive me. Got an itch on that damn mustache. They can hold them for immigration crimes. That's what it's meant for. It's so that you can have the system catch up, and then the real immigration system takes over and says, okay, look, this guy was the one holding the shotgun, but this lady was part of it. She was a conspirator. So yes, we'll hold her. We'll deport her. We won't go through the whole thing of prosecuting her like him, but we'll deport her because she was a part of the organization. That's what that was for. Now they're going to use it to replace the failing ICE debacle that they created. They're going to take our most experienced law enforcement. They're going to take our most experienced agents, and they're going to put them on the bigotry path because bigotry sells to their base. When we need these people, we need these people. You know why we can't have shipyards? We could build the shipyard. There wouldn't be a soul standing in it. We don't have the people. We're an aging nation. We can't pardon the expression, shit a workforce. It's going to take immigration. It is. But that runs counter to everything that these right-wingers, the bigotry that they sell. So instead of doing the work, building the immigration system that will vet things well, like we tried to do, and Trump interfered with when we were trying to enhance our immigration system so they could vet people. No, we can't have that. We can't fix the immigration system, because a working immigration system would allow us to come up with the workers to fill these jobs. Oh no, that would be brown people. There would be people speaking Spanish at Walmart. Damn it. Can't have that. Yeah, but we're gonna revitalize an industry, and your kids are gonna have good jobs, because they're gonna speak Spanish in Walmart and I ain't having it. That's the power of bigotry. And the Republican Party knows it. They know it. We're not the same, folks. We are not the same. Every policy they come up with is geared towards hating someone, hurting someone, or propping up some fantasy that goes counter to the very simple, practical principle. Paul Wellstone used to say this all the time. We all do better when we all do better. And they will do anything but that. Let me catch up on some of these comments. Chandra Patton, thank you for being so. Thank you for always being here, Chandra. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the show. Stephanie Daly, whoa, I'm going to screw this one up. Stephanie, I need you to help me with this pronunciation. I'm going to say delightiness. That's what I'm going to say. Stephanie delightiness. Delightiness. That's what I'm going to go with. Stephanie delightiness. Correct me in the comments. You know, I think it's a matter of respect. You need to pronounce people's names the way they're supposed to be pronounced. Nevada dismissed the fake electors case for the second time, saying they couldn't prove the case. We have a MAGA problem here. Yep, because the fantasy is more important than actually eating. Hermana of Delphi, Google damnatio memoriae. Ancient Romans got it. Yep. Monica Meadows, wondering if you heard about the aircraft carrier slingshot system for the jets and wants them to go back to steam engines instead of the equipped electromagnetic ones. Yeah. That idiot thinks he knows better. The same guy that wants us to build a Trump battleship when the Navy doesn't build battleships anymore because they're useless, wants to force our aircraft carriers to go back to steam. You remember the old, like 1980s, like Top Gun, you'd see the planes slingshotted off the aircraft carrier, and there would be this steam that came off. Yeah, that was because they used to be steam powered. It was a big piston that would run down the deck and drag the plane with it. There's a problem with that. You had to have a boiler. You had to have, boiling water to power it, and plumbing and everything to support. It was a bad system. It was. You know what do you know how they used to find true this? If you're former Navy, back me up on this. Do you know how they used to find leaks when those systems would develop pinhole leaks? They would have sailors walk with brooms and wave the brooms in front of them. And when the broom got cut in half, there's the leak. Because, sailors would walk into that shit because you couldn't see it. Check the comments. There'll be somebody in the Navy that will verify that shit. Those steam catapults, replacing them with electromagnetic catapults was a great idea. Was it an easy fix? No. Did it take work? Yes. Does it work now? Yes. Is it better than old plumbing systems where you have to have sailors walk through the ship waving brooms trying to find the high pressure steam leak that will literally slice you in half? Monica Meadows, thank you. Appreciate you. Marta, my father, 2 brothers and many family members are in the military, still have military members. My father is buried in the PR Veteran Cemetery. Pray for our military. Amen. Amen. People out there serving, just doing their jobs so that we can sit here and have the privilege of having this conversation. Jenny, 2025, regarding the Kennedy Center, name one of the bathrooms inside the Trump Memorial restroom. Print the toilet paper with a fake national security verbiage. Also, post warnings to enter at your own risk. That's funny. That is funny. I love you people. Y'all are able to laugh when there's not a reason to be laughing. I love you people. Clarence WD, as a 42-year union member, I can attest that we are all capitalists. We've just refused to be exploited without fair compensation. Amen, man. Amen. Amen. Under construction for now. Hi, all. Friday is my son's music lesson, so we'll be watching later. In the meantime, the puppy treat jar needs filling. Oh, thank you. You're too kind. You're too kind. Steve Pift, isn't Ignale's shipyard still operating? It's a ghost. It's a fraction of what it would. Yeah. Do some. It will horrify you what's happened to our shipbuilding industry. Do some reading on it. It will literally. It will. Very few things leave me in fear. The degradation of our steel industry, our shipbuilding industry, these are the kind of things that keep me up at night. Dr. Dag, the only way through is blue. I hear you. Michael Jackson in the house. Thank you, Real Texas Paul and Mrs. Texas Paul, for all you do to educate all of us. Let's hope more listen to what the Dems have to say. Ride or die, baby. Amen, brother. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to do this. Stacy Swanson, thank you for supporting the show. Gregory Brown in the house. Good to see you. We have an increasingly paranoid psychopath behind the wheel who openly uses people as decoys, and he's all out of bullets. What could go wrong? Well said. Monica Berlin, thank you for being here for a couple of new chew toys. Thank you. I'm telling you, this dog, I gave her a bone that's supposed to, it's supposed to last, man. She ripped that thing apart in a day. Whew. They call them alligators for a reason. E.T., the thing that gets me is that several of these unions actively worked against their people by supporting these motherfuckers. Are you ready to get involved? Yeah, that's a thing. That is looking at you, the fucking Teamsters. Looking at you. E.T., messaging people, affordability instead of culture wars, Citizens United instead of APAC. Are you ready to get involved? When we do the work, it gets done. Yep. You and your fucking pimp daddy wearing the fucking gold chains and don't get me started. Scots. Trump yesterday ordered the Navy to remove the magnetic catapults from carriers and go back to steam. Idiocy. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. It's like the Trump battleship. He ordered the construction of the Trump battleship. It's like, oh, yeah, sure, we'll do that. And then they spent the next 6 months explaining why we're not going to build a fucking battleship. Netadol, Americans have become so brainwashed, but they will waste money in the meantime. Americans have become so brainwashed that they mix communism and socialism together. You know it. Mike Daly to them, these assholes are like Billy Zane's character in the Titanic. Half of the country is going to die, not the better half. Yep. Alan Thompson, Texas Paul, thank you for telling the truth. Vote early. People live behind by a fancy gate, and you don't get to know what's going on behind the fence. E.T., when these people talk about bringing back manufacturing, just ask them, how? If all you have not working for is, if you have how, if y'all are not working for it by supporting the people whom don't, how are you going to revitalize an industry if you don't have the workforce? And how are you going to get the workforce? I know, look, Clarence, I'm going to come right back to you, my friend. This is part of the whole abortion thing. Yes, the abortion issue was manipulation. It was. Churches didn't used to have a problem with abortion. They didn't. This is a wholly created issue for the Republican Party. But it was also a delusional thing that they thought was practical. These bigots, this is how far down the road in their hate thinking they are. These bigots actually thought it out. If we get rid of the brown people we don't like, we're going to have to replace them. What do? Well, we turn women into baby making machines. We take our own women, talking about the bigots, we take our own women, we make sure they can't get divorced. We take them back to the days where they're baby making machines, can't get abortions, can't have birth control. They do what their husband tells. They stay home and make the babies. And that's how we'll replace them brown people we want to get rid of. That is the bigotry of the abortion debate. They really fucking thought that way. Think that way. Think that way. We are not the same. I try to drive this home, and I will still get somebody. I had a woman walk away from me. I was at a social event for Democrats. I was invited. It was in someone's very nice home. They had a little pug that I absolutely adore. Yeah, I found the dog. And this woman came up to me because, I did my usual screed about Republicans. She was very angry. Forgive me. I need to take a drink real quick. Forgive me. It's not easy to talk for 2 hours straight. This is one of us. Walked up to me very angry. And I mean very angry. She did not like how I talked about Republicans because her two sisters were MAGA. And she knows they get tricked and say stupid things, but they're good people. She got furious because my response to that to her was, bring me your sisters. Let us have a conversation. And in 5 minutes, I will prove you wrong. I will have them say things that will horrify you. She got so mad, she left. She left the whole party. She didn't just walk away from me. She left the whole party. Yeah, folks, we're not the same. And there's too many people on our side, is where I'm going with that want to believe that there's something to these people that's not there. Clarence, I get it, man. If they can hate you just for your existence, I'm not safe either. We're safe together. I protect you, you protect me. We are brother and sister, and we protect each other as it should be. It's not okay to be the soft bigots. That happened with the union vote last time, Clarence. That happened with the union vote. A lot of white union people will not vote for Kamala Harris. They're not open bigots, but a lot of it was soft bigotry. And it was enough to cost us the election, among other things. I'm telling you, we've got to clean up our own backyard first. Just like I offended that lady, she needed to be. I need to not back down and say, no, your sisters are not good people. Nobody that could support this are good people. Nobody. Clarence, my man, says multicultural coalitions are a threat to the broligarchy. Yeah. Amen. 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 Tiger Butterfly, USA, AI layoff 71.3%, India 7.2%, Germany 3.4%, UK 2.6%, others 15.4%. US leads AI layoffs worldwide. This is going to be something that's going to fall into your lap that we're another problem that we're going to have to clean up. And I'm sick of it. I mean, aren't you? Aren't you sick of it? Ethan Vinsky, I took Carlin to heart for better and worse. I miss George Carlin. We need people like George Carlin. We need people like Christopher Titus out there. He bangs away all the time. He does. We need more people like that. We really do. Stacy Swanson, are Gangsta Kitty and Dolly Parton adapting to Maya? Slowly, very slowly. They both want to kill her, but they are now starting, and Maya's gotten to the point where she doesn't like chase after him. God love Dolly. She's the sweeter of the two cats. I thought it was going to be Gangsta Kitty that straightened out Maya, because I knew it was going to happen at some point. Maya's a puppy. She's going to do something stupid. I hope she doesn't lose an eye or something over it. You know what I mean? I'm trying very hard. I'm keeping them, I'm not forcing these together. You know what I mean? But I'm also not going to lock the cats in a bedroom and shit like that. It's been enough weeks that they're starting to come together. Kitty walked up to Dolly. Dolly was in the scratching. We got scratching boxes around that we put. My brain's not braining. The herb, the catnip. We put catnip in it, and the cats scratch on it and something. And Dolly was in there just ripping one up. She'll shred one of those things, man. They're literally, we have to vacuum up little pieces of cardboard everywhere because she's just going to town. And Maya's like, "What you doing?" And walked right up to her, and Kitty didn't know she was there. Kitty turned around and wham, just slapped her upside her head. And Maya, who's normally super brave, she curled up into a little body. It was they're working it out. Let me put it to you that way. They're working it out. ET, Google Super Chat censorship just kicked in hard. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I don't control Google. I'm just grateful that they give us the platform to fight it out. Jerry Ring, those are idiots that get to the taser gloves. Yeah. I know a lot of people were talking about the taser gloves. That idiot that you saw point the gun in one, they want to buy $20 million worth of gloves that are tasers so that when they physically put their hands on, they can taser you. It's just, got to vote blue, people. You got to vote blue. Ethan Vinsky, my biggest issue was Carlin thought. Both parties are the same. Newt showed me otherwise. Been voting straight blue ever since. Yeah, there are a couple of comedians that have screwed up that way. One of my favorite is Lewis Black. He thinks that way too. He talks a lot of, as part of his bit, he talks both sidesism. I think anybody that's paying attention will know that both sidism is bullshit. You know who's evolved on that? I'm glad to see it because I kind of abandoned him for a while. Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart's kind of figured out, no, we were wrong about that. You look at the evolution of his commentary. Jon Stewart's one that really figured that out. Alan Thompson, Texas Paula is true. They had a brawl on the ship. Yeah, it's getting bad, folks. Midas Pilot, 100% steam cats are not reliable. Maintenance hogs. Yeah, stupid. Literally, I'm not kidding. Ask anybody. How do you find a leak in a steam catapult system? You literally take a guy, you give him a broom, and you have him walk down a hallway waving the broom. And when the broom gets cut in half, we found the leak. Rena Scott, Rump doesn't know it. Only one flush to a toilet. And he wants to spend billions of dollars to take the aircraft carriers to the 1970s. I know. Oregon Wine Lady, please get Maya professional training. She will be a better housemate, guard dog, and pet. Honey, jump in there. It's already been mandated from Mrs. Texas Paul that both me and Maya will go to obedience training. That is part of the deal. Mick Bassage, Ayn Rand rolling over in her grave, finding out her team is the anti-industry bad guys. Who is John Galt? I know. Their narratives are bullshit. They've never held up. Their narratives have never held up because there's never anything to it. Yeah, Christopher Titus. Give my man Christopher a follow. He does a lot of what I do, but it's funny. He is, I'm telling you, I love Christopher. I really do. He is a great guy. Give him a shout out. Tell him I was talking nice about him today. He's on Threads. He's on Blue Sky. He's got two his kids. Son's a comedian, Jet, and his daughter is an incredibly gifted singer. She is something else. But Titus, amazing guy. Christopher Titus. Give him a follow. Tell him I was talking nice about him today. Well, folks, I love you. This is what I've had for you today. This is what I've got for you today. I hope you find it useful. I hope it motivates you. I hope it gets you involved. This is it. I told you last month, August. We're about halfway through with August now. We got 2 more weeks, 2 more primaries, sets of primaries on Tuesdays. This is it. We're coming out of the starting blocks. This is the election season. I'm doing my job. I'm showing you where their shit is going to come from. I'm doing my job as best I can. And when the shit sneaks by me and hits the ground, I'm going to fight it out with you to push back on it. But we got to do it together, man. We got to do it together. I need you keeping people motivated. I need you using your grandma power. I talk about that all the time. Grandma power, grandma and grandpa power. You get people to the polls. You get people involved. I need you we need to not do what we did last time, or we start feeling good about things. We start feeling good about, getting excited about the rhetoric that's coming. We need to remember the stupids. Never forget the stupids. We got to keep them angry. We got to keep them motivated. We got to keep them pointed in the right direction. The fact that you people can sit through this 2 hour plus almost 2.5 hour show shows you ain't one of the stupids. You are not. Go get them. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.